And we are live according to what this is saying. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Howdy, howdy. I had no idea on anything to talk about, and Miss Emily said just have an open forum. So if anybody comes in and has anything to say or ask or just whatever y'all want to talk about, because there just ain't a whole lot going on, to be honest with you. Hope everybody's doing well. Been doing some reviews. I got a mess over here on my desk and dash cams. I didn't know they made such things. Now I got something to talk about here. And I'm gonna do a box opening video on this, but it's well, we'll just open the box right now. It's a AC to DC with the little, if you can see that, the little cigarette lighter PowerPoint. There we go. I didn't know they made anything like this. But Emily said that they did. We looked it up and got one in. And it's going to be perfect for when I'm doing like reviews on, say, dash cams. I can just plug them in right there and do it right there. It's a lot handier and a lot easier than going out in the car and stringing wire everywhere. And anyway, how you doing, Adam? Hope all is well in your neck of the woods. It's been kind of cloudy here. My windshield was awful, but they keep talking about rain, but all the rain is just sliding just west of us and going northeast so far. But it's getting evening time now, so I don't look for anything severe. I haven't even looked at the radar in a little bit. Here's what the radar is looking like. Yeah, there we go. So, it looks like it's still going to stay probably north of us. I love the weather. I don't like the damage that some of it can cause, but other than that, I really enjoy storms. As long as it's daylight and you can see what's going on. The rest of it, you have to depend on radar. Anyway, like I said, I really don't have a whole lot to talk about. My monitor, it has a mind of its own. It just goes black for a second. No matter what I'm doing, whether I'm doing this or editing a video or just surfing the internet, it'll just go off. I don't know what causes that. If anybody's got any idea what causes that, let me know. I've got it plugged into the HDMI port on my laptop, but it just goes off for 3 seconds or so, and it comes right back on. How you doing, Rodney? Hope everything is well there. Is anybody making any money? One thing I have noticed a lot. I always look at the Reddit posts, and there seems to be a whole lot of people that, just put it bluntly, that gripe all the time. They're not making this, they're not getting that, and I can't for the life of me figure out if you're that miserable, then why do you do it? I understand you get frustrated from time to time, but these are people, and I see the same people griping about the same things all the time, and I'm like, if you had a W-2 job, I'd say find another W-2 job that you're happy with. When people gripe about these Walmart Spark and stuff, and they gripe about not being able to pick the orders up as soon as they're ready, but now apparently they don't realize that it doesn't matter if they're ready or not. It's when the customer wants it delivered. It ain't up to Walmart. And it's not up to the drivers when that order gets delivered. It's up to the customer when it's supposed to be delivered. People can lollygag around and whatever, but Anyway, that's just the way it is. I guess people just want to fuss about something, and I don't know. It's been getting really bad at my favorite Walmart. It's completely oversaturated with drivers. I used to average 20 to 30 hours, but now it's really lowball. Yeah, that's true. There was a person who Pedro put out a video the other day about how much he could make, and the guy, I don't have it open right now. I read his comment a while ago, and he's 30 hours, and I don't know where he's at because I said, I think Pedro's video is, can you still make $1,200 a week doing these gig apps? And anyway, that person I guess commented, and I figure it's newer drivers, but this guy had, I think he said like 4,000 deliveries, so he's not a new driver, and he commented back that he's making $700 in 30 hours during the week, which that's great. But most of the markets, from what I've been hearing, are just like yours, Adam. They're oversaturated. I was hoping that some of the seasonal drivers would quit after they figured out they're not going to be making that big money that they made right before Christmas. But anyway, hey, Brian.
I think some of them have. I think some of the seasonals have fallen off.
Yeah. Before I was worried about y'all not being able to hear Emily, but when I watched my replay, y'all should be able to hear her just fine. Not many people call me Bran. People that's known me for a long time and family, some of my family members call me Bran. That's cool. There any fishing videos in the near future? I always enjoy them. I got several of them on my other channel, Dirty Shoes Adventures, if you want to check them out. But now that you mentioned that, I'm going to break Miss Emily in. She used to camp when she was little, I think, but many years ago. But we are going to a state park for my birthday at the end of April, and I will probably video a little bit of that, especially if she falls in the water or something. Those Kodak moments. But yeah, fishing season is coming. It's what we was discussing earlier. I said if we could have about 4 days of these 80-degree days and the sun shining, the crappie would be on. Bass, crappie, all of them would be spawning. And I've got several friends on my Facebook that catfish a lot, and they've been posting catfish. So apparently the catfish are biting. So I told her we're going to have to get our fishing license and head out to a lake real soon. We don't have to wait till the end of April. That camping trip is going to be at the end of April. It was one night. I tried 3 nights, y'all, but she said I thought she was going to break me in easy, and I said, okay, one night. We'll see how it goes. Because the convenience of a cabin is nice because you got your own bathroom and shower, and some of them, not all of them. But you're still laying down and going to sleep. So as long as it's not miserably hot, I'm fine in the tent. I used to do tent. Then I had my SUV, and that made a perfect camper. Put a full-size mattress in there. We don't have that anymore, but nevertheless, sleeping in a tent, I love it. As long as it's not miserably hot or freezing cold. But if you have electricity hookups, I have a little heater that I have used in my tent, and it will heat a tent up nicely. Oh, how you doing, Miss Rideshare Lisa? So anyway, probably sometime during the week after May 1st there'll be a video on there, because I know this is a gig channel, gig related, but it's a lot more life related, really, I don't want to, you know, niche the channel down to just one particular subject. I'm all over the board, obviously. I look forward to it. Yep, me too. How you doing, pork chop? But in the state parks here in Texas, you don't have to have a fishing license, and that's great. You know, which we'll have to get a fishing license anyway because there's a lot of places I know to go fishing that you might ought to have a license just in case. It's not worth getting a ticket over. And plus, you know, some people fuss about the prices of the fishing license, and I understand it, but you need to read what that money goes towards. So there is a reason why they charge and charge so much. The only thing that I disagree with, used to, I think it was like 65 or 70 and older didn't have to have a fishing license. Now everybody does, except for the, was it 13 and under, 13 or 14 and under. But out of state license, non-resident license are kind of expensive. We're real close to the Oklahoma border, and there's some nice places to fish right across the river. Well, right across the river and a little east, Lake Murray. Pretty lake. But it, you can get a 1 day or a 6 day, but it has to be consecutive days. It kind of bites. I did my first Spark alcohol delivery today. I almost didn't take it, but it was going to a nice neighborhood and it went well, but I still didn't like it. Has anybody had bad experience? No, but I will give you some advice on that. I mean, you may already know it, but if you got quite a few groceries or whatever, take the alcohol first and get the ID first before you take the rest of your groceries up there. Because if they don't answer the door or they refuse to give you an ID, it all has to go back to the store. And if you unload everything, technically you're supposed to load all that back up and take it back to the store. So do the ID first.
I've never had any trouble.
But I've never had that happen.
They're usually waiting on me with the ID.
Yeah, that's right. Most people that order alcohol, they already know. They know how it works. But where we live just opened up for Walmart delivery. So there might be some out where we live that may not know. But it's kind of common sense. I mean,
the app tells them you have to show your driver's license to the driver.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it does.
So anyway, I would still check the ID before I unloaded all the groceries. When I first started doing these gig apps, there's an app, Favor, and I one of the main reasons why I quit doing it is because right about 3 o'clock to 3:30 in the afternoon during the week, I'd start getting orders for beer and wine coolers and snuff and cigarettes and stuff like that. And I had a few of those that were minors because they didn't answer the door. They just wanted it left at the front door. And it was always during that time. Later, in the evenings or earlier in the day, it was fine. But there wouldn't hardly be any alcohol or tobacco deliveries. But it was just, I don't know if that was the case, but it was just kind of odd that it was right about the time kids would be getting home from school. So I quit doing Favor for that reason. But I've heard Favor is good in the Houston area, but it's not in the Wichita Falls area, not anymore. Yes, I went to the door first, but I called Spark to ask if I had to be the person that placed the order or could it be an adult. I knew nothing, and Spark app didn't tell you much. I did text ahead of time to say I was on my way, that we could, she would need to show her ID. Ronnie said, pork chop, I had a customer almost fall on me when he opened the door. He was already drunk and and ordered more alcohol. After that, I never did alcohol delivery again. Be careful. Yeah, I mean, technically, if they're intoxicated, you're not supposed to deliver it to them. And probably in the terms of use, it probably is supposed to be the person's name on the order with that ID. But you need to follow the terms of service. Let me just say that first, or terms of use on Walmart Spark. But I don't. If it's the guy, the wife that on the order, and the man answers his door, or the other way around, I just scan that ID. And if it won't scan, then I type it in.
And usually, if it's not the right person, it won't scan.
Yeah, it won't scan if it's not the right name on there. It won't scan.
But as long as they're of age,
yeah,
I just leave it. After I check their ID.
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to have the same last name. I mean, it's kind of obvious, but technically, probably by the terms of use, you're probably supposed to match the ID with the name on the order. So that's your call. I don't ever, it's like Emily said, I've never really had any problems. I've just known that if you unloaded all your groceries, you have to take them all back. That was a debate a while back with somebody. I don't remember if it was online or in person, but they said, I just sign it and just put in numbers. But you can't do that because you're dealing with alcohol. And you start dealing with alcohol, then you are responsible. Walmart's not. So there is a liability there. But if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you got nothing to worry about. Just, if it's questionable, the person I did have an instance where a little boy came to the door and he was going to go get his dad's ID and bring it to me. That one I didn't do. I mean, Dad came to the door, but apparently he was busy doing something. He just sent his son to the door with his ID, and I told him, I have to have your dad. I'm sorry. Which I could hear his dad, but I couldn't see. That is the only real issue, I guess, that I remember having. I might have had something before, but I don't remember having anything. Mark did say it had to be the person on the door or on the order. Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be. But, do what you're comfortable doing. And if you're not comfortable doing it, don't do it. That's kind of like setting the groceries inside the house. Now, female, I don't want anybody thinking that I'm saying males are tougher and stronger, because I'm not half sure Emily couldn't whoop me if she wanted to.
I could.
Yeah, she says she could, but in reality, I don't know. But nevertheless, I'm not saying a man or a woman's any weaker than a man, but I have never worried about carrying stuff in a house. I had one the other day that kind of copped an attitude, and I went ahead and did it, but I copped an attitude back, and then I started trying to be nicer. Nevertheless, it's like setting groceries in the house. Do what feels right to you. Technically, you're not supposed to do that. But if they're in a wheelchair, if they're elderly, and if they got a case of water, and that little old man or that little old lady can't pick that up, you might set it inside for them. But I'm a man, and for women, that might be a whole different situation, because you don't know if somebody else is in that house too. So just be careful and use your best judgment, just like with alcohol. Yeah. Spark said you did have to take the whole order back and couldn't leave just part of it. Exactly. Yep. Never do that. Now, there is a driver here that says they just take the alcohol back, but you're not supposed to do that. There's the ones when they open the door and you get hit with a pot smoke. I've walked down breezeways to some apartments and almost got high. I mean, matter of fact, actually, I kind of probably did because I started kind of feeling funny when I got out of the car and I sat there for a minute. But it was, I don't think it was just weed though. It was, I don't know what it was. It was, that or it was whatever it was affected me in a weird way that I didn't like. And I got nothing against anybody smoking some weed. You know, I'd rather them do that than meth and all that other stuff. But if I'm doing rideshare, I really don't like it because that makes your car smell like it. Unless they're smoking outside. And some people, they just absorb like tobacco smells and they, you know, it's just the way it is. But anyway, Texas is not legal to smoke marijuana, so we can't talk about that in Texas yet. It will be. It's just a matter of time. I think, as far as that goes, didn't you say that the federal
I thought they decriminalized it federally.
decriminalized it federally?
But I don't.
So they're leaving it up to the states, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, that's why all the Indians got along real good. They smoked the peace pipe. Yeah, everybody's happy. But if he gets drunk and kills the neighbor, you'll be in jail for serving him the beer like a bartender. That would be, yeah, I mean, that's a possibility. I would say, well, I can't make a judgment on that, a call on that. But how, you know, like Rodney said, if they're falling over drunk, that's real obvious. But I have been around a lot of drunks that were totally not just passing out, falling down drunk, but they were drunk. I mean, really, really drunk. Like the Walls were their best friends and they would hug them and talk to them all day. But you get what I'm saying? But is it, am I trained? Do I have a breathalyzer or any way to say that they're intoxicated? Just because I smell beer or whiskey or whatever doesn't mean they're intoxicated. Unless, like Rodney said, they're falling down drunk or whatever. But New York is legal to have or smoke, but not to sell unless you're a dispensary. It's going to be legal everywhere. You know, they've been pushing that probably since my parents were kids. You know, I don't. And to me, it's just like alcohol. You know, if you can be responsible with it, good. I got nothing against somebody smoking weed. I got nothing against people drinking. Just be responsible about it and know what your limits are. That's all I got to say about that. But yeah, I suppose if you you know, gave somebody that was totally drunk and they went and got in a car wreck, more than likely they would probably say, "Where'd you get that?" I ordered it on my Walmart order, and that would be the end of it. But you know, I don't know. Like I said, just do what you feel comfortable doing. No matter what Walmart says, don't matter what the terms of use says. If you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. Everywhere I go smells like marijuana. I don't like the smell. You know, I don't know what it's referred to as nowadays, but back when I was younger, it was referred to as skunk weed. And that weed really, really stinks. But good marijuana, it smells good to me. I mean, it doesn't smell quite as good as like a good cigar, but I think I like the smell of a cigar because my dad smoked cigars. and I grew up smelling that, and it's kind of like smelling a cattle truck. A lot of people, ooh, that smells like cow poop, and it is. But when you grow up around smells, you you kind of learn to like that smell. I mean, you don't want to roll around in it, but it doesn't bother you.
It's comforting.
Yeah, it's comforting. Emily grew up out on the ranch, so she knows what it is. I grew up around my dad hauling cattle and going to sale bars. The only things that I don't like the smell of, as far as ranch and farming, is hogs. Hogs stink.
Yeah, bad.
Yeah, you can smell one for miles. Anyway, definitely an open forum. We're going from cow crap to marijuana to alcohol. It's cool though. I like that. I had someone light a joint and like, oh, yeah. I immediately pulled over and kicked him out and forwarded him. Yeah, I did a ride share one night, and the guy was like laid over in the back seat, drunker than Cooter Brown. But he wasn't like throwing up or anything. So as long as they don't throw up, I don't care. Or unless they start being belligerent or something. But he was cool. But about halfway to his house, and this guy was about my age. He said, "Man, you smoke weed?" I said, "No, sure don't." He goes, "Oh man, too bad." So I guess he was wanting to fire one up, but I guess since I didn't smoke weed, he didn't want to fire it up. But yeah, I wouldn't let anybody smoke. I wouldn't let them smoke cigarettes in my car. That'll ruin a car, and that's what gets me. People will go buy these brand, and there's nothing against you smokers, so don't take this wrong. But y'all know yourself that you will ruin a car smoking in it. That's a fact. And even smokers, diehard smokers, will. I don't think we'll argue with that. But people buy these brand new cars, and you see them just puffing away on that cigarette. And I'm like, you're depreciating every light. Well, once you smoke a pack or two in that car, that odor's there. A lot of people say, "Oh, you can get the odor out." No, you can't. You can get it out temporarily to get rid of it, but that odor will come back. Just a matter of time. And they got those what they call atomizers or atomizers or whatever. They're supposed to filter all the air and do all that. And I've smelt cars that smelled great after that. And then a couple months later,
when it gets good and hot and then seats heat up.
Yeah, it gets hot and you can start smelling it again. So you run a car, but it's your car. Just like people smoking in their house. If you want to smoke in your house and you enjoy painting, because you will be repainting your house, because it'll turn your walls yellow. Miss Reba's over here just, she's getting fussy, but I think her tummy hurts. We got some medicine coming for her. We'll start giving her that. But yeah, a lot of places, you can smell weed big time. I've been offered weed, cocaine, and alcohol doing ride sharing. Crazy. I got offered cocaine one time when I was younger. I was either in my early 20s, I think. I wouldn't do it. And in all honesty, the reason why I didn't do it is because I'd heard too many things about it, people liking it, and I was afraid I would like it, and I didn't even want to go down that road. And that stuff will really mess you up. I like I said, I got nothing against anybody smoking weed. I'm not saying one whatever joint after another. I don't know what they call it nowadays. I guess they don't even they use pipes nowadays. From what we've been watching that
On Patrol Live.
On Patrol Live, and they stopped the car. I guess it was the other night when we was watching it. It was last year's, I think. big old glass bong.
They pulled a lot of stuff out of that car.
I mean, little pipes, big old bong. I'm not talking like a little. This was a big one. We ain't got nothing.
It was probably 3 foot tall.
Yeah, it was huge. I'm like, and this was just in a regular car. It wasn't like in a van or an RV or something like that. Man, that's crazy. Oh, but yeah. Yeah, I've never been like a pothead or anything, but I just, if you're responsible, whatever. My whole thing is this: some of the stuff that they put in, like what you buy off the street as far as weed goes. Some of that's got chemicals in it, and that's what, to me, that's what makes it so dangerous. You don't know what they soak that in to give it an extra kick, At one time, I'd heard that they were soaking it in embalming fluid. That can't be good for you. And crack and all that, we all know the end results of long-term user on that. Unfortunately, I worked with a lot of them out at the state hospital, because you're either going to wind up dead, in jail, or in a state hospital if you're using crack and continue to use crack. I wish there was, some of the younger people that want to try that, and they do it once. Oh, it's fine. It ain't going to hurt me. I wish they could take a tour of North Texas, well, probably any state hospital, anywhere in the world, and see what the results are of that. It's heartbreaking. Kids, I say kids, I'm talking probably 12 years old to 25 years old, ruining their life, because there ain't no coming back from that. Once you get so far down the road, ain't no coming back. Anyway, that's not a good subject. I don't like that subject. But anyway, so don't smoke weed in Rodney's car when you ride with him. Or don't bring no alcohol where you get parked. Yeah. I remember one time, I think my daughter called my mom. If I remember the story right, she was accusing me of being an alcoholic because I had a 6-pack of beer in the refrigerator, and it had been in there, probably a month. It's been in there a while. Now she probably laughs about that, but I got in trouble with my mommy. And they used to call my mom and tell them, there ain't no food in here. He ain't feeding us. She come look, there's all kinds of food. It just wasn't frozen pizzas and frozen burritos and stuff they could put in a microwave. It was stuff they actually had to fix. Anyway, they all survived, though. They all, my son and daughter survived, and I survived. All I'm going to say about that one is boys are much easier than girls. So anyway, how long? Oh man, 34 minutes. Am I hearing thunder, or is it a vehicle out there?
It's a vehicle.
Oh, we got some more storms developing. I don't know if y'all can. These storms right here. Let me move that in front of my face so it'll focus.
Oh, that is thunder you're hearing.
Yeah, I thought it was thunder. See, Wichita Falls is.
It's still we may catch the very edge of it, but it's going north.
You see Wichita Falls right there. But this little cell right down there. Stanford and Anson.
Yeah, but watch it. When it gets up there by Stanford, it sucks it up into that bigger one, so it's still going to go north.
We'll watch it. Unless you're in the, well, actually, this storm, that line of storms, is heading up towards Pedro's district. They got little green squares all the way up to Springfield. And then you got St. Louis. This storm just kind of moving like that. It's narrow, but if y'all look at the radar, the United States radar, you will see it. So, anyway. What was that you mentioned earlier about the tip? You didn't see where to take a tip away?
Yeah, when we got our delivery the other day, it let me rate the driver, but there wasn't that place down there to change the tip. And I asked Brandy about it, and she said she hadn't seen it either.
So, Miss Lisa, are you still here? Rain here in LA last couple of days. Well, imagine y'all need a lot of rain out there. Wasn't there like a big tropical storm that came in, wasn't there? I thought I saw that on the radar a few days ago. Maybe I'm wrong. Sometimes a few days ago after I really start thinking about it was last month. But yeah, Emily said that she hasn't noticed how they've been tip baiting and taking the tips off of the spark orders. She didn't see, because like I said, they opened up our area where we can do home delivery, and we couldn't do that before. But anyway, I'd be kind of curious if they removed that. That would be great if they did. Of course, today, show y'all this. See if y'all would have took this order. I don't think it has. Or never mind. I already moved them over. It had a $41 tip on it going to an apartment complex that it was a $9 delivery with a $41 tip. $41 and some change. I rejected it because a $41 tip, come on.
Coming from there.
Yeah,
right.
It wasn't a real high-end apartment complex. And it was, I showed it to, what was 100 and, the total items was 105. So I think it was like 60. What was that?
It was a big order.
Yeah. Let's see. I've got it right here. Just a second here. Oh, well, I can't show it to y'all because I don't know how to. Well, wait a minute. Maybe I can do this. Give me just a second. We ain't got nothing to do but just talk anyway. There. I'll save this. Save a copy. Get back out of my Amazon folder. Where is Dashing Grandpa? There he is. I've got folders. Boy, if y'all ever got in my computer, you'd have to dig and dig because I got folders and folders that are in folders. I'll just put that on. I'm going to make it different because I don't want to overwrite that. Because I'm doing a little experiment to kind of went with last Monday's video. Okay. Bring this up. Let's see. Present, share screen, window. Now, Let's see, does that pop up? There it is. $41.45. It doesn't show the item count on that. Huh. It was a big order. 48.45 was the total. But if I remember right, it was an upstairs apartment. No, it wasn't. It was a downstairs apartment. But that would have been a $7 order for a huge order. That's why I didn't take it. Would you have took it? But if what brought that up is I thought, man, if they did remove the ability to take the tips away, that would really bite not to have taken that order. Anyway, that was kind of random, but stop screen. That's it. Oop, there we go. It's been raining every week, at least 2 or 3 days. But y'all get those big forest fires out there. So, I don't know. I guess all the rain, of course, I guess also could cause a bunch of mudslides too. I don't know. Everywhere you live in the United States has got something. The coastal areas have the hurricanes, East Coast and the Gulf. Oh, I guess. Do they ever have hurricanes out of the Pacific? I'm sure. I don't know. I've never. I don't know of any major hurricanes that's ever hit like California and the West Coast. But I do know y'all got lots of fires and mudslides out there and earthquakes. We would freak out with earthquakes around here. We had an earthquake probably 12 years ago. And I was standing in the kitchen and I had a cup and you could see it. It just started bouncing like that for just a second. But you could stand there and feel it. And that was a weird feeling for us. Anyway, random thoughts. Speaking of random thoughts, if I got 2 channels now, other than this one, 10 to 12 feet of snow in the mountains, they're saying skiing season could run until July. Wow. When they show the trip number, is that number of the orders that they have sent out that day, like 52 is 52nd one for that day? If so, I guess you could tell how busy your store is. Oh, you're talking about, well, wait, let's put that back up there. Window, where'd it go? There it is. Are you talking about up there where it says 58? I don't think that has anything to do with, no, I know it wouldn't have anything to do with the number of orders from that store that day, because they would have had that was the visit. The one on Lawrence Road here in Wichita Falls, as it shows, is the busiest Walmart there is here. And they had a whole lot more, because this was in the afternoon. 2:45 pickup. So I really don't know what that trip number, I really don't know what that is for. Do you know what it is, Emily? Yeah, I don't know. But that wouldn't be the number of trips or orders from that day. So I don't know. That's a good question, though. I would say we could ask a loader, but a dollar says a loader ain't going to have a clue. Most of them know how to bring the stuff and put it in carts. Some of them don't even know. I had a guy today trying to put my big tote is long and it's a bigger tote. and he was trying to put a water in there sideways, and he says, and he propped it up, and then he started putting the other one. He goes, "Well, this ain't going to fit." And I said, "Well, move that." And then I turned it, and it just sat down in there, and he set the other one right on top. I'm like, "Use your head. All you got to do is look. I mean, you don't have to. It's not any extra time. And it's a lot less work." But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I get. I I know somebody that's got several orders under their belt, and I will ask him if I sing out tomorrow. And maybe he knows. Maybe he just never paid no attention though. He's well over 8,500 deliveries. So, but that don't mean he would know what it was. But anyway, I don't know what it is, but we'll see if we can find out. What was that? What was that talking about? Anyway, never know with me. That's I don't know. That thunder's awful loud.
It's in Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. You know, it's funny. People from Texas make fun of Oklahoma, but Oklahoma is really a pretty state. Eastern Oklahoma, about midway and going east. Beautiful. And Texas is beautiful, about midway east, and then from the Texas Hill Country, like north of San Antonio. What's funny is when you're going to like Corpus Christi, if you look on a map, you go Wichita Falls on down, and you go through Corpus to go down to, through San Antonio to get to Corpus, and it's ugly. Another side of San Antonio, it's flat. It looks like around here, but it's beautiful on the north side of San Antonio. Texas Hill Country, man, it's pretty. I thought Miss Emily was going to say something. She turned around here. She had a thought.
Oh, I always have a thought.
Is it family friendly?
No, I really don't have a thought.
Oh, she don't have a thought now. Anyway. So I got dead air. I got nothing to say, and nobody's saying anything. So anyway, I don't know. We're just going to keep it rolling and see if somebody says anything. If they don't, and I start hearing crickets and people snoring, we'll just slide out the back door. It's thunder, though. I love the thunder and the sound of rain. I mowed this yard 2 days ago, and it is already don't even look like I mowed it. We've been getting the front yard sprayed with the weed killer, and I ain't even touched it this year. And the way it's looking right now, I may not touch it at all this year.
Yeah, because we didn't have any grass, and they killed all the weeds. So
Yeah, there wasn't.
there is in one corner some grass out there, so that's kind of exciting.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
This is random. I don't know if it would work, but I wonder if I guess they have to keep spraying it, and maybe next year we could put some sod out. It was covered in.
Or seed it. Grass grows easy.
But plants don't.
I can grow grass. Can't grow plants.
I said she was a ranch girl. I didn't say she was a farm girl.
I have a black thumb.
She can raise cattle and bottle feed goats, but you can't grow onions. Anyway, y'all, speaking of growing, I'm gonna think about what we're going to eat here in a little bit. So I'm going to get off here and get this evening going. actually, it's really time to start winding down. But we got to eat, and I've got like one. I want to do a review on this. One, got a weed eater in, got to do a review on. Got a little tent thing, got to do a review on, but I can't do that because that needs to be in daylight. Oh, and a horse grooming kit. They asked me if I wanted to do that video. I said, I don't have no horses. I don't even know anybody's got any horse. Well, actually, I think I do. Now I think about it. But I haven't talked to them in years. But it's just a box opening. So I guess I will act like I know what I'm talking about. I can read the paper, but they just wanted a box opener to show what was in there. Easy peasy. I can do that. Anyway, I'm going to knock off about 9 minutes early. And, it's kind of like when you're at work and you're wanting to leave early, but you're really supposed to stay there. But that's what I like about gig work and doing this. You can kind of, if you don't want to continue, you can take a break and go eat or whatever. So I'm going to go a joint adventure to the kitchen. She's going to turn around and look at me like, you got a mouse in your pocket? Oh, she's really laughing because that's exactly what she was thinking.
Yep.
Anyway, y'all, hey, I appreciate y'all hanging out. I know this was just totally random, not about anything, but do y'all watch Mushy Moo? He's gonna quit doing the ride-alongs and all that. He's not dropping his channel, but that was lightning I just saw. But it's he can only beat a dead horse so many times, so to speak. There's hundreds of videos out there on the same things. It's repetitious, and people like him that's been doing these gig videos for a few years. How much can you cover? And that's one thing that I want to keep my channel not confined to just DoorDash or just Walmart Spark or just Uber Eats. I wanted things to be about that, but about you and me and life, and inspirational or whatever you want to call it. And maybe just somebody to shoot the bull with or ride down the road and talk and like go fishing. We may go fishing and see what it's like to DoorDash in Mineral Wells, Texas. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here, y'all. I've rambled on long enough, and thank y'all for coming by. And keep smiling, dashing, dancing, prancing, doing whatever it is you want to do. Just keep doing something because you're going to grow old if you don't. This girl needs to go outside, I think so. I'm going to go let her out. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe and make some money. But enjoy what you're doing. Or don't do it. Find something that you do enjoy. Bye, y'all. Let me click end broadcast. And we are out. Bye, y'all.